Hey, what is going on, everybody? Um, if you watch my videos, you might have seen this coming. Now, I debated whether or not I should make this video. I made a video prior to this where I was a little more angry, but there might have been some false information in it, so I redacted it. It has been made private, or at least unlisted. I don't quite remember, but anyways, there is a woman by the name of Krystal Cherokee Scott Lee, I believe. I don't know if the Lee is a actual part of her name or not. It's been debated, but anyways, Krystal with a K, Cherokee Scott with two T's. Now, some people don't know her name. She is the Omegle cat killer, or was the Omegle cat killer. She is no longer the Omegle cat killer now. She is in a mental institution because she threatened to kill herself after they tried to arrest her, which was, I will admit, is a very cowardly move. Now, nothing really makes me angrier and more depressed and heartbroken and stressed out than seeing defenseless creatures, including, babies or children or animals, be abused in some way cruelly, with no attention being paid or no emotion being showed towards the animal. Just a cruel, right to it abuse. It's heartbreaking to see. Now, honestly, she reminds me of Jeffrey Dahmer. I mean, she was into taxidermy, which she did herself. Um, she could have made a good taxidermist. Unfortunately, she was killing animals and taxiderming them. And it seems like she thought this was okay, or she thought it was normal. And then realizing that this has escalated, she decided to go on Omegle and give people shock, for the shock value of it. Some perversion was involved in it. But enough rambling about that. Fact of the matter is, she skinned cats, she beat them, and just tortured them and treated them poorly, and, very heartbreaking stuff. But another heartbreaking thing about this is she seemed to be somewhat normal at first when she was younger. And I actually felt in my heart that she had a lot of potential, and I believe she still does. Now, this is not always easy to say, especially about someone who does something that I wish no one ever did. It's hard for me to even be alive sometimes knowing that somewhere someone is hurting an animal. It deeply disturbs me. But everyone has a past. There is always more to the story. Apparently, she was raped and abused. I don't know who she was raped by. I don't know if it was her boyfriend, or maybe it was her somebody else in her family, maybe her father. I don't know. Her father was arrested. It does show the charges. I don't know exactly what happened. I just know that something happened to her to change the way she is. She seemed to always be into taxidermy before she started abusing animals. And it seems that in that time, something happened to pervert her interest into killing animals. And then the taxidermy stayed. It seems like something came along and twisted her vision. And I can see in the pictures a slow progression into darkness. From where she's being silly and colorful and bright to she slowly gets darker and darker. The pictures get darker, the lighting gets worse, and then you have what happened. You have a person who is killing cats live on Omegle. So there is some type of degrade happening mentally to this woman. She is a woman. She's 20 years old, so she could be facing some serious charges here. But she's in a mental institution right now because she threatened to commit suicide and things like that. So I made a Pray for Onision video. I made a Pray for James Soroka video. Now, honestly, this is a worse case than both of those people. This is a much more serious case. Yeah. But I always say pray for the people that need it the most. And you know what? I still do see the potential in her. I still do. I don't care what anyone says. She can be better. She doesn't have to do this. She doesn't have to hurt animals. There's something in her that just needs to be fixed. There's something that she has to want to become better. A lot of people who commit murder and crimes when they're younger, if they get into rehabilitation and they get isolated fast enough, it can be healed. A lot of people, it happens all the time. Hopefully she's one of those cases. She has to want to get better. She might not want it at first, but we got to try, right? So I do ask that you pray, and that I will also pray for Krystal, Krystal Cherakee Scott. I really do see potential in her. Never before have I seen potential in an animal abuser, but I do see potential in everybody when I really kind of start to get to know them a little bit, at least from the outside. From what I see, something just happened along the way that really messed her up, and there seems to be maybe possible drug abuse. And if you're already having trouble withholding yourself from violent tendencies and you feel like it's an addiction, and then you start doing like drugs, hard drugs, that addiction is going to just explode. And I think that's what happened. Her house was a big mess, and it just seemed like there was something wildly out of control. And she started to deal with the repercussions of that. You can see the fear in her eyes and everything. There is definitely an insanity going on here, and not a good one, not a fun one, very bad. So yeah, this is a Pray for Krystal Cherakee Scott video. I make this every time someone comes into the limelight and becomes an infamous kind of character that everyone doesn't like. I make a Pray for them video. This is something that I do, and I'm not going to stop doing that. So yeah, pray for her. And just pray that she draws away from this, that maybe she can become better, learn from this, and maybe feel that emotion that she needs to feel, you know. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'll be back in a flash.